I have 2 words for you that will significantly reduce your stress at work. Clear agreement. One day, a colleague and I got really upset with each other. I had just returned from a business trip and was ready to move on to my next big meeting, and this colleague handed me a report that I asked her to prepare, and it was not what I wanted. Yes, it's exactly what you asked for, and I assured her it was not. And my stress level began to increase because the meeting was the next day, it was late in the afternoon, and it was for a board of directors presentation. It had to be done well and right. And it wasn't the first time this had happened. So we were both very frustrated and upset. It wasn't long after we resolved that matter when I was going to be leaving again and asked her to take on another assignment. We chatted briefly and I left my office. But this time she returned and asked for 10 minutes of my time. She presented me with the form she'd outlined, and at the top of it said, clear agreement. I just want to make sure I have it right so that when you come back from your trip, Linda, I've got it right. Wow. Have a look at the accountability clear agreement form. If you do one thing in your career, your life, your work, whatever, learn to make clear agreements. Let's go over what the form entails. First of all, very clearly state what the task is. Hey, Terry, I want you to do this report. What's the outcome or deliverable? Now it's getting a little bit tricky because her idea of the report and mine could be completely different. When's that ever happened to you? Secondly, we have to make sure on the outcome and deliverable that we've stated it in such a way that it doesn't have scope creep. It just has a very clear expectation of what's to be produced. Then we get into the actions. Now, the person I've given this to, or the person we're making the clear agreement with, those actions are mostly what I rely on them for. But something showed up when Terry showed me what exactly was going to be done in actions. She had way more than I would have expected. Light goes on. I'm not being clear. You don't need to do that 18-page spreadsheet with data. Just give me a summary. That takes hours off of all the time that was going to be spent. And now, very importantly, by when? Not so much that due date that says, okay, when I get back from the trip, let's have a meeting, hand it to me, and I'll get going again. But what if something shows up between the time we've made the agreement and the by when, and you know you can't get the by when done? Renegotiating. So in the by when piece, you want to make sure to talk about, so what do I do the second I know I'm not going to be able to deliver on that by when? How do we agree to communicate? Because agreements are negotiable. It's not a hard and fast rule that says, here's my clear agreement, the bat I'm going to use to hit you with when you don't keep the agreement. They need to be negotiable because the reality of day-to-day business is when it's important, some things interfere and I can't meet that timeline. So let's talk. And finally, and most importantly, oftentimes, what are the stakes of not getting this done? And what's the benefit of doing it? If I'm going to put all this time and energy into being clear and owning it fully up front, what's the outcome? Am I just doing this because it's busy work? Or is there some result or benefit that we're all going to gain from? It's very enlightening to go through those parts of a clear agreement with someone and make an agreement with them to do it. Now, a couple of things to make certain you don't do. First, don't fill the form out yourself and send it to someone with a note, our clear agreement for your signature. Yes, sometimes you'll want someone to sign the bottom after you've agreed together so that we make sure that we are really taking ownership with our promise, our name signed at the bottom. But it's not so that you can use it later to hold someone accountable in a way that says, see, you signed the bottom line and you didn't keep your agreement. It's really just a ritual to say, let's both sign this. Oftentimes when someone's going through that clear agreement process, they think, are you going through all this detail because you don't trust me? No, because I don't trust me. I make lots of agreements every day, and when it's really important, let's get clear. Don't use the clear agreement When what you really need is a performance improvement plan, go to your human resource department and use the process that is in place for that. Don't make changes without those in agreement present or informed in a timely way. If you consider that most conflicts and upsets around work that is not done or done right comes from missed expectations, you can always go back to the source, you, and through clear agreement, when it's important, get things back on track. Is everyone going to cooperate with this practice of clear agreement? No. And you know why? They don't want to be accountable. At this point, you have to make a decision about what you are really dealing with and not make it wrong. Instead, do not walk to your definition of success for yourself so you can center your sights on where success is available and head for it.